All right, welcome to Talking Comics. You got me, Pear, and my friend Paul. We're going to be looking at Superman number 80 in a 7.0. Tell me why this is an awesome comic, Paul.
Well, this is the very first appearance of Supergirl and Superboy, but even better than that, it's the first time they ever met.
That is classic. Okay, 1960 I see up there. Let's look at a bigger picture of it if we can.
Yeah, sure, but first let's talk about the price. It's just under 185 bucks.
Yes, good. What do you think before we move on? What do you think about that price? You bid on that sucker, didn't you?
Yeah, and I lost
How high did you go on it?
100 with the shipping, which was an extra 15.
You like did 115 roughly, and yeah, okay, and it went for 185.
And it
All
went
right,
for
here we
100.
got the cover. These old classic ones, they're cheesy, like in an awesome way. So it's probably not the interior of the comic probably has nothing about throwing darts, but it just shows that with darts, she can throw it with super strength, but he has super invulnerability, so it doesn't go into his skin.
Right, yeah. So the long darts don't hurt. But I wonder if he also throws them at her.
If you did a new comic where you reverse it, then you would get canceled. You get fired. Before we look up the price of this comic, if it was a CGC, what do you think about the fact that this is a PGX and not a CGC? CGC is the famous one. PGX is a upstart one that's in Oregon, actually.
Yeah.
What do you think about the difference there?
Well, I think that you're really buying the comic book and not the grade or the company to a degree. It's always a suggestion in what it really is. I mean, the CGC will miss them, PGX will miss it. They all get it wrong from time to time. So to say there's not an error rate in them, of course there is. They make mistakes. It does happen. But with that said, you're not buying PGX. You're buying Superboy with Supergirl throwing a lawn dart at Superboy.
And lawn darts are illegal.
Yeah, you can't even. Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's check out the GPA analysis, which is the thing that tells you how much.
So that's good. So we were saying it went for 185, and
that's in a 7. Let's remember that.
Yeah, and so if we look at GPA prices, even in a 6, it's 144. So that's pretty well in line. Very
well, I mean, you got a 7 right there. So
the 7 right there is 143.
143. That's a recent sale. So
and let's say it's an extra $10, or more. Who knows?
Wait. Oh, plus shipping, right? Yeah. So they paid an extra 30, 40 bucks for this PGX one. So at least in this case, the PGX did not reduce the value whatsoever.
Well, and I think that if what I was trying to say is really about the book. If you have a key book and really there's just nothing wrong with what's inside the container, and it's a classic, it's a Green Lantern #1. Like I said, that had happened recently where Green Lantern #1 had sold for more than any other 1.0 ever. And so that was a PGX.
A PGX Green Lantern sold for more than any other Green Lantern in that grade ever.
Yeah, just recently.
Yeah, that's a great book. It's a great book.
Yeah. So, I mean, my point being, if it's a really big, for example, if it were Action Comics #1, do you think you're getting a smoking deal on it because it's a PGX? The answer is no.
You're not getting any. You're not saving a single dollar on Action Comics #1.
No.
One more thing I want to talk about before we close this out. I'm seeing a lot of green arrows on this.
Yeah, it's going up, right? Certainly, people are catching on.
Like you look at the 6.0 thing. It went from like I think that was that 2 years ago. The left column was like a couple years ago. So it went from 70 to 144. So it is doubled, and that one is doubled. The higher grades have not gone up as much, but that one doubled, for instance.
Yeah, well, and I think that a lot of comics have gone up during the pandemic. I think that has been really common. Some things that are not going up, like 70s, 1970s Batman. Oddly, if it's an off issue, you think that'd be worth a lot of money, like Neil Adams, and they're really not. They're pretty affordable. But Marvel, anything Marvel and Key is just huge. And even the early old stuff. This is 19. I think it's 60. I think it's
1960.
Yeah, so super old.
One other thing to say about this is they have a new Superman and Lois, I think is the name of the new TV show.
Right, with the twins. I've never seen it, but I know you've talked about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but they do have twins, so that's kind of like Superboy. So there's a little bit of a Superboy thing going on.
One of them named Jonathan Kent.
It's like Jordan and Jonathan Kent. They're like, yeah, they're
so
Jordan.
Anymore.
Yeah, they're like teenage twins, so they're kind of like Superboy.
Wasn't the original Jonathan? Wasn't he a clone?
And then there's a Jonathan that is older than the TV show, and I'm not sure.
I think that's the clone. Then that's the one where Superman died.
Okay, stuff that I don't care. Stuff that's after my time, but yeah. All right, well, hey, thanks for watching us talking comics for Per and Paul. Bye-bye.
Bye.